on this. Okay. So business partner is a member, or the business partners are the members, or the people who are participating in the business or who are involving in the business. Whoever it is, whether it could be customer, whether it could be vendor, whether it could be data provider, or it could be customs office, or employee, or organizational unit, or any government agency, whatever it is, or whoever it is, we will consider those members as a business partners in the SAP GTS system or SAP GTS perspective. So here, generally what happens, in ECC, we have customer, we have vendor, we have banks, we have financial service provider or financial institutions, or like we do have employees. Okay, these are the different members what we create in the ECC system. So here what we need to do, okay, before I get into the further master data elements of SAP GTS compliance management, can anyone tell me what is the technique suggested by the GTS to transfer master data from ECC to GTS? I mean to say that I can repeat or I can put it in a different way. The question I would like to put it in a different way. How or what kind of yes. So that means SAP suggested to transfer the master data from ECC to GTS in asynchronous mode of communication or asynchronous mode of transfer. So that means the master data like customers, vendors, employees, financial institutions, banks, whatever is the master data or custom products, these elements are supposed to transfer from ECC to GTS using asynchronous mode of transfer. Asynchronous mode of transfer in the sense, periodical transfer. We do not need to use any RFC setup. That means we do not need the real-time transfer. For the master data transfer, we do not need any real-time transmission. We can use periodical transmission or periodical data transfer techniques like using the background jobs. You can schedule the background jobs so that like once in a day or once in a day, twice in a day or thrice in a day or 5 times a day, based on your master data volume, you can schedule set of background jobs to transfer all your master data elements from ECC to GTS system, which is called as the asynchronous mode of transfer. So okay, that's what we need to since even though we already discussed that point, I just wanted to remind here at this moment. Okay, what happens when you transfer the customer to the GTS system, when you transfer the vendor to the GTS system, when you transfer the employee to the GTS system, or when you transfer the contact person to the GTS system, what happens? What kind of, when you transfer the customer from ECC to GTS, what kind of record is created in the GTS system? My question is GTS system is going to have the customer master record, or is GTS system is going to have vendor master record, or is GTS system is going to have employee record? Can anyone answer me?
No, only business partner will be created in the...
Yes. So whatever is transferred from the ECC to GTS, we will have only business partner record from the GTS system. Whether you transfer the customer, whether you transfer the vendor, whether you transfer employee or contact person or whoever it is you transfer from ECC to GTS system, the GTS system will create an associated business partner, an associated custom business partner in the GTS system. You may have the doubt. If the GTS system creates everybody or every member as a business partner, how it can be differed? It can be differentiated using the concept of business partner role. The role of the business partner differentiate from one business partner to other business partner. If the customer is going to have the business partner record, the system will assign customer role. If the vendor is going to have business partner record, then the system will give the role as vendor. If the employee is going to have the business partner record in the GTS system, the system will assign employee role. How it happens? We will discuss this as part of general basic settings. There are set of settings what we have to do as part of general settings. So while discussing the general settings, we will discuss about the rest of the areas. So now what we understood, that business partner is a member who is participating in the business, like customer, vendor, data provider, custom office, financial data providers, or employees, or organizational units, or even government agencies also can be considered as a business partner. So can anyone tell me, where do we create the data providers? Do we create data providers in ECC system? Do we have that facility to create the data providers in the ECC system?
No.
No, we do not have, but where do we create? We can directly create the business partners for the data provider, or business partner for the customs office, or the business partner for the organizational units. For these things, for these members, we can directly create the business partner records in the GTA system. In the GTA system, we can directly create the business partner record for the data providers, that is third-party data provider, or government agencies, or organizational units, or custom offices. For these 4 elements, we can directly create the business partner records in the GTA system. But other than these elements like customer, vendor, and financial institutions, banks, or other master data elements, we transfer the data from ECC to GTS, then the system automatically create the business partner record. And what about the third one? Organizational units. The organizational units, organizational units also directly created in the GTS system. And here the point is, in GTS, SAP GTS, the organizational units are not configurable elements. These are system consider organizational units as a master data elements. I mean to say that in SAP SD module, in SAP MM module, whenever you create any organizational unit, for example, when you create sales organization, when you create company code, when you create purchase organization, when you create a sales office, when you create sales group, when you create a distribution channel or division, whatever you created in the ECC system, what will happen? The system will create a transport request, the change request. The system will create a transport request, like which we need to move from one system to other system. That means in SAP ECC, whenever you are creating the organizational elements, you have to create in one system, and then you do not need to create those organizational elements in each and every system, but instead of that, what you can do, you can simply transfer the transport request. You can move the transport request from development system to quality system, and once testing is completed, you can move the same transport request from quality to production system. But in SAP GTS, it is not like that. Wherever you want, you have to create the business partner records, the organizational units. Wherever you need, whether it is development system or quality system or production system, you have to create organizational units independently. So there is no transport request option. Your changes, your organizational unit creation changes will not store any transport request directly available in the same system. If you want to create in any other system, you have to create it again. That's what you have to remember. Maybe for Gangadhar and Ramakrishna, you may not get this point. As I told you, I will call you tomorrow. I will explain what is transport request, what it is meant for. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. I will explain you little bit more in tomorrow. Okay. Okay. And coming to the other. Okay. As I told you that as I just explained you, organizational units are specific to the system. Hello. Rahul. Rahul. Okay. Rahul, do you have any doubt? Rahul? Rahul, we are not getting your voice. Hello, Rahul? Okay. And then the next master data element is the country group. Basically in SAP GTS, what we do, we can group a list of countries under one group, but the criteria could be the list of countries, the group of countries, or a list of countries which require the list of countries which require similar rules and regulations, similar export rules and regulations, or similar export process. What you can do, you can simply group them into one group. So the grouping of countries into one group, you call it as country groups. In SAP GTS, we have a concept of country group, wherein which you are grouping a list of countries in one group. But while making a group, you need to make sure those groups, those list of countries should have similar export requirements. That means whenever you have a list of countries which require similar licensing requirements or similar SPL requirements or similar regulation requirements, then what you can do, you can simply group them into one group. That group is called as country group. Country group is grouping of list of countries which requires the similar export requirements. That is the country group. And then product. Product is a material or an item. Like the product is a material which is being participated in our business. So whenever you are doing an export or whenever you are doing an import, what you do? You can sell a product or you can import the product. The products which are participating in your import business or export business are called as a custom product. You can call it as a custom product. And one important thing is, you never create any product directly in the GTS system, but what we do, you create products or you create the materials, you create materials in the ECC system, and then what you do, you will transfer the materials from ECC to GTS system. So the material master data or the product master data will be transferred from ECC to GTS system using the background jobs. So since the material master data is a master data. So I just wanted to ask a question, maybe Ramakrishna or Gangadhar, what is your understanding on transactional data, or what's your understanding on master data? Okay. So basically the transactional data is the data which you create day to day as part of your day-to-day business activities. So that means every day you can create a number of sales orders, every day you can create a number of outbound deliveries, every day you can create a number of billing documents. That means as part of your selling process or as part of your export process, what you can do, you can create so many transactions. You can create a sales order, you can create a delivery, you can create a billing document. So that is what what we can call transactional data is the data which you create day-to-day basis. Like as part of selling or as part of exporting, you create sales order, you create outbound delivery, and you create billing document. But whereas when it comes to the purchasing, when it comes to the import process, when it comes to the purchasing or a procurement or a materials management or the import process, what you do, you create the purchase order. You create a purchase order to your vendor to procure something, to purchase something, to get something, to import something. And you do inbound delivery. As part of sales, your delivery will be outbound. You are sending product outside from your company. The product is going out as part of selling or as part of export. But whereas as part of import, as part of purchasing, you are getting something from outside. Something is coming to your company. Something is coming to your warehouse. That is, in order to import, what do we need to do? We have to create inbound delivery. The delivery which you are creating for procuring something or receiving something is called as the inbound delivery. The delivery which you are creating to sending something out, to send to your customer, that is outbound delivery. All our export transactions or sales transactions are having outbound delivery and all our purchase transactions or our import transactions, import process will be having inbound delivery. And then in sales process you have billing documents which you create to the customer. As part of materials management import process, you create a vendor invoice or invoice verification. You create a vendor invoice to the vendor which you have to pay to the vendor. Whereas in the sales process you need to receive money from your customer. That is account receivables. You have to receive the money from your customer. Whereas from the MM side, from the import side, what you need from the purchasing side, you have to pay something. The accounts are payable. Whereas in a sales process, the accounts are receivable. So that's the basic process what you need to understand at this moment. So and then, so whenever you are creating any product, or whenever you are dealing with any product, whenever you are dealing with any material, what do we need to do? You have to create the master data record, master record. So what is the master record? Like, the master record is one-time setup. If you create one material, that's it. You can create n number of transactions using that material. Using one product, you can create n number of transactions. The data which you can create one-time setup can be considered as master data setup. That is like, customer. When you create a customer Venkat, that's it. You do not need to create Venkat every time. But one time, if you create one time the customer master record Venkat, you can use that Venkat in each and every transaction. You can create a number of sales orders, you can create a number of outbound deliveries. But you do not need to create master record for Venkat every time. So the data which you need to set up one time can be considered as the master data, and the data which you need to create day-to-day basis is the transactional data. So since the products or the materials are the master data, the products are the materials are the master data, so what you need to do, you have to, once you create the master data in the ECC system, there is a need to transfer from ECC to GTA system. So what will happen? I just wanted to ask a question, what I already explained a few minutes back. When you transfer customer master data from ECC to GTA system, what is going to happen? The GTA system will create what? An associated business partner record created in the GTA system. In a similar way, when you create a product, what will happen? The GTA system will create, when you create the product or when you create material in the ECC and when you transfer it to the GTA system, what will happen? The GTA system will create an associated custom product. So each and every material or each and every product in the ECC system, when it transmitted to the GTA system, it will be having an associated custom product. That's what you have to remember. Okay? Each and every master record, material master record, when it transferred to the GTA system, it will be having an associated custom product. That is what the master data element, what I am referring here. Products are the custom product. You can say custom products are the products. And then control grouping. So what is the control grouping? So I hope you understood country group. Country group is the grouping of list of countries. Country group is a group of list of countries which falls under same legal requirements or which require same export requirements, same export regulations. Whereas the country group is the grouping of products, grouping of custom products, grouping of materials. That means the products which require the products, the list of custom products, the list of custom materials which require similar legal requirements, similar legal control requirements. What you can do, you can group them and create a group. That grouping of the process of grouping list of products which require similar requirements is called as control group. So in simple words, country group is a list of countries, grouping of countries. Control group is grouping of products. That's simple. Straightforward, if I say country group is grouping of countries which require similar legal requirements, control group is grouping of products which require similar legal requirements. And then custom list numbers. What is the custom list number? So in SAP or in international trade, what will happen whenever you are exporting any product or whenever you are importing any product? As I already explained you in demo class in the previous session, in order to identify, I'm going to ask a question. In order to identify the duty requirements or Is anybody asking any question? Okay. In order to identify duty requirements, in order to identify the license requirements, or in order to identify documentation requirements, what do we need? I mean to say, by just looking at the product name, I'm asking a question, by just looking at the product name or the material name or the custom product name, can you determine what license is required, or can you determine what are the documents required, or can you determine what duty is required? By just looking at the name of the product, is it possible for it to you or for the customs authorities or anybody else? Is it really possible?
No.
No. It is not possible to determine the license or to determine custom duties or custom documents by just looking at the product name. But what is the base? Then what do we need to use? So we need to use a concept of classification number. There are some classification numbers. There are some standardizer codes. There are some standardizer codes which are being used in the international trade. Those numbers need to be assigned to the products. So each and every product which is participated in the import process or export process, each and every custom product, each and every custom material or the product which is participated in import process or export process has to be assigned with a standardizer code or has to be assigned with the classification number. Those numbers are called as custom list numbers. Those could be import control classification number or export control classification number. So I mean to say that we need to assign ECCNs or we need to assign ICCNs to the products which you are dealing, to the products which you are exporting, to the products which you are importing. So these ECCNs are... Hello?
Hello.
Megha, tell me.
I have a very simple question. We are just discussing on the integration between ECC and GTS. Whatever the master data customer vendor is flowing from ECC to GTS, we call a business partner. But what is the link? Suppose there is another system, APO. There is a planning book we call a master data. From there, is there any, because of planning book is very important for them to take the planning of the future. Do we flow any other data other than the ECC from any other system to the GTS?
No. As far as SAP concerned, we only transfer the data related to the exports, the data related to the imports, okay? That is SD module or MM module. But there is only one thing what you can also transfer, employee data, okay? Employee data. Other than these things, as far as SAP concerned, we never transfer anything, like we never transfer any other things to the SAP GTS system. But if you okay.
We don't have any transfer from the any other system than ECC to the GTS.
No. I mean to say that when it comes to the SAP ECC modules, we are only concerned with this one, SD module and MM module. If you are using, instead of ECC module, instead of SAP SD module, instead of SAP MM module, if you are using CRM system, then SRM system, you can still transfer your customers from CRM system to the GTS system. You can still transfer your SRM system to the GTS system. But 99% of the cases, the feeder system for SAP GTS system is SAP ECC. 99% of the cases, the feeder system for SAP GTS system, that means the data which supplies, like the system which supplies data to GTS system is SD module or MM module, and very rare cases, like I never come across. But the reason for why I refer CRM or SRM is, my intention is SAP GTS is enabled with getting the data from the CRM system or SRM system as well. But no client is recommends, or no client is prefer to use CRM or SRM system for connecting with the GTS system. The feeder system for SAP GTS system is always SAP ECC system, 99% of the cases. But SAP GTS system is having the capability of having the capability of receiving the data from any system, non-SAP system or any other SAP system as well. Like other than ECC, it can also integrate with SRM system. It can also integrate with the CRM system. But I don't think it needs to be integrated with APO. I don't think APO is required to integrate with SAP GTS. If at all it is required, it could be SAP CRM or SAP SRM. Other than these four things from SAP side, I don't think any other module is, as far as export process or import process is concerned. But apart from SAP GTS can be integrated with Oracle ERP, SAP GTS can be integrated with JD.ERP or PeopleSoft ERP or any non-ERP as well. The SAP GTS system having that capability to have integration with any of the system. Okay?
Yes, it's the same like SAP ECC. ECC can integrate with anything.
Yes, like that.
SAP GTS
Exactly.
can integrate with anything.
Correct. Okay? Okay, no problem. So those are like ICCNs and ECCNs. We can call it as custom list numbers. And then we do have master data elements like licenses. Since we need to maintain the licenses for our products. Since we need to maintain the licenses for our products as part of import or export, you need to maintain the license master data in the GTS system. And finally, we have SPL list, that is sanction party list. Sanction party list is also one of the master data elements. You have to maintain list of blocked members in the GTS system. The maintenance of the list of blocked members, the maintenance of list of denied members, the maintenance of list of bad members, or the maintenance of list of prohibited members is also called as master data. That is, SPL data is also a master data from the GTS perspective. So these are all the master data elements what we have to know from the SAP compliance management perspective. Okay, this is about the master data. So now let me start let me open the system. So before we start SPL screening process, in SAP GTS, we have a concept of general basic settings. There are some general settings or general basic settings what we have to understand before you start any of application area. Why? Because as part of general settings, okay, as of now you understood that we are creating customers in the ECC and we need to transfer customers from ECC to GTS. And also you understood you are creating the vendors in ECC and GTS system is transferring business partners, creating the business partners in the GTS system. But we need to know, right, what controlling it. There is a control which can happen this. So those, in the similar way, when you create a product in the ECC system, what will happen? The GTS system will create an associated business product, custom business product. How it is happening? It is also one of the control settings. It is also required one control setting in the GTS configuration, that is general basic settings. And also you understood that when you create a sales order, when the sales order transfers from ECC to GTS, what will happen? Can anyone tell me? I think you should tell now by this time. When I create a sales order, what will happen in the GTS system? Yes, an associated custom document is created in the GTS system. How it is happening? So we need to do some document mapping. So you need to map your sales order sales document type. You need to do the document mapping. So that means you have to configure the document type in ECC, document type of ECC to the document type of GTS. So like this, the mapping of partner functions to the business partner roles, the mapping of business custom products, or the mapping of documents, or creation of the organizational elements, organizational structure, and understanding the business partner concept. These kind of things are part of.
Suppose I am creating a sales order into ECC of there can be different kind of sales orders. There can be document types. Suppose for the imports, for the domestic sales, I create one document type. For export, I create one document type.
I understood, Megharaj, I understood your question. Your concern is, so you are creating a number of transactions. You are creating domestic sales orders, or I can say you are creating domestic transactions and you are creating export transactions. Your concern is, how can you control, okay, the domestic transactions are not transferred to the GTS system. In SAP ECC,
In other hand, how can I differentiate this transaction and those transactions into a GTS system?
that's what I'm telling. In SAP ECC system, we have a control mechanism where you can configure which documents are required to transfer from ECC to GTS. Basically, you have to activate a business add-in. It's like functional module kind of thing. We are using BADIs, business add-ins, in SAP GTS system as part of SAP GTS and integration, or as part of SAP GTS, we are having some programs. We are having some business add-in programs. We need to activate those business add-in programs. Upon activating those business add-ins, what you need to do, you have to specify which documents are supposed to transfer from ECC to GTS. You will instruct the system, you will guide the system. Whatever the documents you are maintaining in that list, those documents will be transferred to the GTS system. All other domestic order types or domestic transactions will not be considered as part of this transfer from the transmission.
I got the point, Venkat. My concern is, suppose I have multiple things into a GTS. Suppose I have an export transaction as well as a domestic transaction, as all the things. How I differentiate? Because every document you are saying is a custom document. Do we have any kind of a separation? Like in the business partner?
Oh no, you are talking about, 1 minute, you are talking about GTS system, Megharaj?
Yes, I am talking GTS system.
Okay,
How
okay.
to separate each custom document?
That's like, I think you missed out when I was explaining that sales order will be having custom document at sales level. Okay, the description itself is showing. Okay, and the delivery document will be having custom document at delivery level. Billing document will be having customs export declaration. In the similar way, purchase order will be having custom document at purchase level. And
I got that point. Each level of transaction we have. Suppose in sales level, we have custom documents. How we define the differentiate? In the sales level, we do have a different kind of sales. Suppose export sales and domestic sales. How we differentiate the same into GTS? How would the custom document of the custom document of
can I ask a question?
or the custom document of the export?
Can I ask a question? Why do we need to transfer domestic transactions to the GTS system? Do we need to transfer domestic transactions?
1 second. Maybe Venkat, this is Ajay Mehraj. You may be like it may be differentiated by ship to party. If it is a domestic ship to party, it will not have any GTS documents created. If it is export ship to party, it may be having maybe.
No, Ajay, no. Let me so Megharaj.
No.
But do you?
I got the point, Venkat. Actually, in the domestic, there won't be any GTS. But suppose I want to do two types of exports. I'm doing two types of exports. There can be circumstances. Suppose I want to differentiate between the two kinds of different exports, which I have created two document types into ECC. And do we have on a one level?
Okay, 1 minute. I got it. You can create different custom document types in the GT system. Okay. Then the way how you have different sales document types in the ECC, the way how you have different sales document types. Okay, like different sales document types in the sense you can have like free of charge order, you have sample order, you have regular standard sales order. In the similar way, you can create different custom, you can use different naming convention for your custom documents. That's what you are asking?
Yes, yes, yes.
In the GTS system,
We have a search engine as well.
yes,
To
yes,
find out what are the sales for this particular type of export.
yes, yes. You can create, different.
Okay, I got the answer.
Okay. You can create different custom document types, and you can create an association. Okay. But generally, you will not be required that. If in case you wanted to have a different thing, then you can differentiate with different document types. Okay. And then, okay, let me open the system. Okay. So as I already explained,
Venkat, your screen got frozen. Is it the same thing or no?
Right now I'm presenting the screen SAP Easy Access user menu for Arcade GTS 9.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
I think from my side it got frozen. Okay. Let me check.
Okay.
Or we also the same way that we can't hear.
Is it?
As you can see the same screen.
So what you can see?
Just see the login screen and nothing is entered there. User password, nothing is entered. That is the screen we see.
So are you now? Is it the same still?
Yes.
Yeah, I see RKGTS 8. Yeah, go ahead and type in your password and yeah.
No?
Now it's fine.
Okay. Now which screen you can see? Okay. So as I told you, in SAP GTS, there are some general settings, general basic settings, what we have to understand. Are you able to see the screen? Display IMG? Okay. Just for your information, in SAP GTS, we are always working on, as a SAP GTS functional consultant, we are always working on two different areas. That is SPRO screen, where you do the configuration. SPRO screen, where you do the configuration. And the second screen is SAP GTS dashboard or SAP GTS area menu. So you are as a SAP GTS consultant, you are always working on two different areas. Those are SPRO, where you do the configuration, where you do the control settings, background control setup or control settings. That is SPRO. And the second area is SAP GTS area menu, where you where your business users, where your client users will work, and as a GTS consultant you are supporting to them, like easy access. Like easy access in ECC, we do have GTS dashboard. We do have GTS dashboard or GTS area menu in the GTS module. So this is the place SPRO where I am in. So what you do, here you can maintain configuration. Here you do the configuration. Here you maintain background control setup. So as part of that background control setup, what you need to do, your GTS configuration settings have been divided into different parts. As I already explained you need to perform some general settings. So before you discuss compliance management, before you discuss customs management, or before you discuss risk management or electronic compliance reporting, what do we need to do? You have to understand, or you have to know what are the general settings or general basic settings which you have to set up in the system. So in order to go further, in order to move further, you have to maintain some general settings in the SPRO screen or SPRO area. Those are like, for example, you have to maintain system time zone. So for example, you have to maintain system time zone. So in which system, under which time zone your client is going to work, under which time zone your client is going to work. And apart from this, you have to maintain number ranges. So why do we need to use the number ranges? So why? Because I'm just explaining very high level, just to know what are the general settings, what you have to do. Once I give the high level overview, then I will explain so how to configure each and every area or each and every concept. Okay, what is number ranges? So in our day-to-day business process, what you are doing, you are creating custom documents. You are at the sales level, you are creating custom documents at the delivery level, you are creating customs declaration document, and you are creating custom documents at the purchase level, you are creating custom documents at the inbound delivery level, or custom documents at custom import declaration. So whenever you are creating customs documents at the customs declaration, so do you think that we need any numbers to maintain the documents, or we do not require? Maybe Ramakrishna and Gangadhar, like, do you think that we need to give the numbers to the transaction? For example, when you are creating sales order, do you maintain the same number with all the sales orders, or do you maintain like the sales order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that? Do we need to maintain the different numbers?
Different numbers.
So we need to maintain different numbers. So because of that reason, in the similar way, whenever you are creating any custom document, you do need to maintain the numbers. Your custom document sales level, which is created today in the morning, it can have number 1, and the document which created after 10 minutes, it can have number 2. Like this, each and every transaction is supposed to have an associated number, or it should have assigned with any number. Because of this reason, what do we need to do? You have to define the number ranges. In the system. And just for the people who are not familiar with this, as I already explained you, I will take care of it tomorrow. Just bear with me for about it at this moment. Number ranges are required to maintain number sequence. That means you can tell the system you have custom document at sales level and custom document at delivery level. So in the business, what we do, you require maintain one set of number range, one set of sequence, the number sequence, 2 number sequence. Then for the sales custom document at the sales level, and the 3 number sequence like 3001, 3002 or 3004 can be, you would like to use it for the custom document at the delivery level. And for the customs export declaration, you would like to use the number series 9. Can you mute yourself? Okay. You can use number series 9. So like that, what you can do as part of defining the number ranges, you can specify the system. So which documents can have which kind of number sequence. You can maintain a number sequence starting 2 for custom document at sales level. You can maintain number sequence starting with 8 for custom documents at the delivery level, and you can maintain number sequence starting from 9 for the export declaration, and for the number sequence 5 for custom document at purchase level, and number sequence starting 7 can be used for the custom document at inbound delivery level, and maybe 6 you can use it for import declarations. Like this, what you can do, you can define the number sequences and assign to those numbers to the document types. So the way what you do in the ECC, in the similar way you can do here as well. So that is the number ranges. And
actually we define, sorry to interrupt, actually we define a number ranges based on the object ID in ECC. Is the same way we do here?
What do you mean, like object ID in the sense?
We give the object ID and suppose excise invoice, we give the some object ID. ARE1 we give the some object ID in ECC. In the same way, we do we have an object ID for the separate?
No. We do not require any object ID. We just need number range interval. Okay.
Venkat, probably the best way would be just speak on the number ranges and so that everyone can see the screen.
No, actually no. Krishna,
it will make life easier.
I can come to like that place one more time, because I just wanted to explain the high level what are the different areas what we are going to discuss. Okay.
Okay.
So and then once you define the number ranges, we will discuss about the organizational structure. So as part of organizational structure, we will try to understand what are the organizational units in the GTS system, how to create it. As I already told you, we have foreign trade organization and the legal units, what we can create in the GTS system, and then partner structure. So as I already explained you, in order to system automatically create the business partner record, in order to create business partner record for the customer, in order to create business partner record for the vendor, in order to create business partner record for the employee automatically by the GTS system, what do we need to do? You have to do some partner mapping. That is mapping of partner functions from the ECC system to the mapping of partner roles, business partner roles. You have to do that. That is what we call as partner structure or partner mapping. And then we have a concept of legal regulations. It is something like unique, like what we have to spend, for which we have to spend more time to understand it. So basically the legal regulation is a logical concept. The legal regulation is a logical concept which will control the whole GTS module. I mean to say that, so whenever you wanted to maintain control settings, any of the application area, whenever you wanted to maintain control settings for the SPL screening process, whenever you wanted to maintain control settings for embargo, whenever you wanted to maintain control settings for legal control, import and export, that is license, or whenever you want to maintain control settings for customs management or risk management, letter of credit, whatever it is, at what level you maintain control settings at the legal regulation level. So that's what we discussed as part of legal regulations. We define the legal regulation and we assign the legal regulations to the countries and country groups as well. That's what we discussed as part of the legal regulation. And then we discussed about the document structure. Basically, document structure is nothing but document mapping. That is instructing the system. If I create a sales order with the document type ABCD, then create custom document with the document type XYZ. So that way we can map the documents from the ECC sales order, ECC document types to the GTS document types. So that document type will be taken care by the document structure. So like the maintenance of the time zones, number ranges, configuration of the number ranges, configuration of the organizational structure, configuration of the partner mapping or the partner structure, legal regulations, document structure or document mapping, and we do take care of numbering schemes. At this moment, I am not going to tell you what is numbering schemes, but what we will discuss about the time zones, number ranges, organization structure, partner structure, and legal regulation, and document structure. These are the things what we have to understand, what we have to discuss as part of the general settings, which are required to understand the further SAP GTS concepts. Okay, this is like very high level overview what we have to understand as part of the general settings. So let me go back to the time zones. So basically what happens in the system when you start implementing a SAP GTS module, what do we need to do? You have to maintain time zones. You have to tell the system which time zones you would like to use. Whether you would like to use the Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone, Pacific Time Zone, or Indian Standard Time Zone, whatever it is, whatever the time zone is required for your business. So it is not your interest. It is not you who will decide it. It is decided by your business. So whatever the time zone is requested or recommended by your business, that has to be maintained here. And one important thing is, since the custom transactions are very time sensitive, so once you set up the time zone here, it is not advisable to change the time zones frequently or at any point of time. So before you start using the system, it is better to decide which time zones are required and strictly follow the same time zone, not to change in between. And even if at all anybody want to change, it is not authorized. That authorization will not be given to anyone unless an important team members. So the time zone can be maintained here, and also it is not advisable to change at any other point of time. It has to be taken care at very beginning of the implementation of the GTS module to any client. So that is what you have to understand about maintaining the time zones in the system. And then there is one more thing what you have to do, that is defining the external country codes for data upload. Defining the external country codes for the data uploads. So here what I wanted to tell you, who will provide the data? Let us go back to the previous explanation, that is day before yesterday, or like 4 or 5 days back. So who will provide the list of blocker members or list of blocker countries, whatever the data is required for our GTS system or for our export or import purpose? Who will provide the data? Yes. So whenever you are receiving the data from the data provider, you have to maintain all the country codes belongs to those data providers. So from whoever you are receiving the data, so those country codes has to be defined. The respective data providers' country codes has to be defined in the system. So that is one of the important things what you have to maintain. That means the external country code has to be defined in the system for your data providers. Why? Because if you miss out the country code definition in this place, what happens when you are not able to upload any data using the data provider? If you are using any data provider name as part of your updating or uploading the data to your system, what do we need to do? You have to maintain that country code belongs to that data provider in the system. That's what we do here, defining the external country code for the data upload. So that is the next, that is the other configuration what we do here. And then the number, Srikanth, tell me.
Yeah, in this find the country code for the data upload, that means we are maintaining the country. Can you open that screen once again?
Yes, yes.
We are maintaining the country of data provider, right?
Yes, yes.
It is, that data provider may be giving the list of US or maybe use list of India, right?
Yes, yes. Basically, the list is not whenever you find out a list of blocker members, it is not belongs to one country, okay? It can be belongs to any country, okay? The list, okay, let me tell you one thing. Whenever I say SPL list, the list can be combination of militants, the list can be combination of terrorists, the list can be combination of Ukrainian rebels or the Russian rebels, or the list can be nuclear proliferators, whoever it is. There are different category of the people. That also we will discuss. That is called as SPL list type. There is a concept of SPL list category. When I say SPL, For example, if I say SPL list is 10,000 members, it is not that all the 10,000 members belongs to the same category, same militants or same terrorists. The 10,000 list can be 2,000 can be belongs to militants, 2,000 can be belongs to terrorists, and 1,000 can be belongs to Ukrainian rebels, or other 1,000 can be belongs to other category of prohibited people. So that those members can be belongs to all over the world. Okay, that's what your doubt, Srikanth, right?
Yes. Here the country which you have shown, that is the IL, that is Israel or UL, that is the country of the data provider. Am I right?
Yes. From whichever the country, the data provider where it belongs to, that country has, for example, if you are receiving the data from the data provider which belongs to Germany, or data provider which belongs to Europe, whatever it is, that data provider respective country has to be maintained in the system. So as I told you, there are different data providers. So the FedEx may be part of US, some other data providers may be part of some other country as well. But the ultimate goal is you need to make sure that you are not sending any export. You need to make sure that you are not receiving any export from any of the blocked members. Whether you receive the data from the FedEx, whether you receive the data from XYZ, whether you receive the data from ABC, the ultimate goal is you should not miss the opportunity to block the bad member. You should not miss the opportunity to block the bad member or the blocked member. Okay, Srikanth?
Yeah.
Okay. So and then number ranges. So here, as I already explained you, we need to maintain the number ranges for different things. Let us say the first thing is business partner. So you are creating business partners in the GTS system. So do you think that do you think that you don't need any numbers to the business partner, or do you think that we need the numbers to the business partner? For example, if you transfer 100 customer master records, if you transfer 100 customers from ECC to GTS, then what will happen in the GTS system? The GTS system will create 100 business partners. Am I correct? The GTS system will create 100 business partners. So then what do we need to do? You have to make sure that all 100 business partners are assigned with different numbers, right? You cannot use same number for all 100 business partners. Do you agree with me, Gangadhar? So Gangadhar, do you think that we need different numbers to the business partner, or we can maintain the same number to all the business partners? Yes, that means if you are creating 1000 business partners, all the 1000 business partners should have the 1000 numbers, like 1 to 1000, 1, 2, 3, 4, to 1000. So because of that reason, what do we need to do? You have to tell the system, okay, even the 1000, you can start from, you can use the number sequence, if I go here, you can use the number sequence maybe 1 to 9999. So if you would like to use this, the number interval 01, if you would like to use the number interval 01, for example, let us say you are intended to use the number interval 01 to your business partner. What is your first business partner number, Ramakrishna? If, for example, here I define the number interval, I have configured the number interval 01 is from number 1 to 99999. In this case, whenever I create the first business partner, what's my business partner number? 1. And whenever I create the 50 business partner and 51st business partner, the system will assign 51. So that means the number sequence, the number should be the part of the same sequence 1 to 999. It follows the sequence. Whereas if I would like to use the number interval, this is called a number interval. If I would like to use the number interval 05, then what is my first business partner number 4000001. So the starting from the 4000001 is the first business partner, and the 400000002 is the second business partner. It goes till 4999999. Why? Because my interval is starting from the maybe it's 40 lakhs. My interval starting from the number series 40 lakhs to 40 lakhs 49 lakhs 99,099. So like this it can follow. If I use, for example, number sequence AB, number interval AB, then what is my number? It starts A. Generally, it is not recommended. The alphabeticals are not recommended for the internal number range. Alphabeticals are recommended for the external number range. I will explain in 1 minute what is internal number range and what is the external number range. For example, if I use the number series DE, then my business partner number is starting with the 3000000. So this way I can control. If I want to have my business partners are recognized, if I want to differentiate my business partners, like if I want to have all my business partners starting with the number sequence 3, if I want to use them, if I want to use all my business partners numbers starting 3, then which number interval I can use? Gangadhar, which number interval I can use? Number interval which one I can use?
DE then.
Yes, I need to use DE so that I can get all, my system can create all my business partners using the starting from the 3, so that whenever I see any number with 3, what I can understand, oh, it's a business partner number. I can easily recognize. So this way what happens, you can differentiate your transactions to the business partners or business partners to the transaction, whatever the way you can do this. So this is about the business partner concept. Here I wanted to tell you one more thing. I think some of the people might be knowing it. We have a concept of internal number range, and we are also having the concept of external number range. So generally, internal number range means the system, if you say it is the internal number range, if you don't pick here, if you don't check this option, external option, system consider it as internal number range, and then what will happen? The system will automatically assign whatever the next number is available in the system to your transaction or to your business partner. If it is the internal number range interval, if the number range interval is internal number range, if the number range interval is the internal number range, then the system automatically assign whatever the next number is available to your transaction or to your business partner or to your custom declaration. If it is external number range, you have an option to choose which number you want. For example, for your organizational data, you are creating foreign trade organization, or you are creating legal unit, you are creating your organizational units. So generally, for organizational units, what do you want to use? You wanted to use names, right? You wanted to use some names or the combination of numbers as well. So then what do you need? Whenever you wanted to have your own name, or whenever you wanted to have your own number, or for example, for a specific business partner, you wanted to use your interested number. For example, for one business partner, you wanted to use 5030. Your interest is, your requirement is to have 5000 or 530 or 50 is the number which you want. So if you use the internal number range, you cannot have that option to maintain 50 to your business partner, or to maintain 50 to your organizational unit, or to maintain 50 to your transaction. Then what you have to do, in order to achieve that requirement, you can define that number interval as an external number range. If you activate external number range to that number interval, then you have an option. You don't need to depend on the system. While maintaining the data, the system will give you a chance. Then you can enter 50 to your business partner, you can enter 50 to your transaction or custom document or declaration document. So that is internal number ranges or the number ranges which can be assigned to the transactions by the system. There are external number ranges or the number ranges where the user will have an option to maintain his own number to the transaction, his own number to the business partner, or his own number to the any license, whatever it is. I will show you where to how to do that. You will be understanding in few minutes. Okay, this is about the number ranges. In a similar way, you can define the number ranges to your business partner, or you can define number ranges for your licenses. For example, if you want to your licenses, you may have different licenses in the system. You will be having individual license, you will be having private license, you will be having combined license, or there are different licenses in the system. For individual license, you wanted to have the number series starting from 10 lakhs or 1 crore or 10 lakhs. For combined license, you wanted to have the number range, number sequence from 30 lakhs. For the, or you can say 1 to 100, or you can say 2 to 2 lakhs, or you can say 10 to 100. That's up to you. Whatever the number series you want to assign to your licenses, those things can be defined as a number range intervals here, number range interval, and you can assign the number accordingly, so that the system automatically assign whenever you are creating the licenses. So in the similar way, the way how you need numbers to the business partner, in the similar way, you need numbers to your licenses as well. You need numbers to your licenses, you need numbers to your documents, you need numbers to your custom declaration, or you need licenses to your products, custom products as well. So whatever is required, you can define the number ranges, and you may have the doubt where to assign. Hello?
I have a question with the license numbers. Aren't they assigned by some regulatory agencies? Do they use only the numeric numbers or alphanumeric?
That you can have both options. The system supports both category of things. That's up to your requirement.
Yeah, but some places it could be 10-digit number, it could be 15, who knows what.
So basically,
by country, right?
Yes, basically it is decided or determined by your business. Your client will tell you what's their license number as part of your requirements gathering. So you will be knowing those details from your client. Your client will tell you what is the number sequence or number range or numbers required for individual license, number required for the collective license. That way, they will give the details. According to that, you can configure the license type, and that license type will be assigned with the number ranges which you are creating. I mean to say that whatever the number ranges you are creating here, whatever the number intervals you are creating here, you need to assign these number ranges to the license types. For example, for your understanding, so you wanted to use the number range from 10 lakhs to 90 lakhs 99,999. Okay, if you want to use this number range from 10 lakhs to 19 lakhs to your individual license, then what you need to do, you have to assign the number range interval 2 to the license type of individual license. So that is, you remember this 2 number range interval, you go to the compliance management, okay, and legal control import and export. You have an option, define the license type. When you are defining the license type, when you are doing the license type configuration for individual license, what you can do, you can assign the 2 here. So here you can assign 2, the number range interval. Whatever you defined the number range interval in the general settings. So that's why we are starting the general settings in advance. So the reason for not starting the application areas is, first of all, you need to be familiar with all the general basic settings. Those general basic settings are required as part of your individual application area. So you can assign here. And for example, for combined license or for general license, so if you want to assign the different number range interval, that is 3 or 4 or 1, whichever you want, like whatever the number range interval you define there, the system will show up here. So since you already seen 4 things, right? 4 different number range intervals. You have seen 2, you have seen 3, you have seen 12, you have seen 5, 15. So which one you want to assign, so which number you want to assign to your license, you can assign here. So this way, whatever the number ranges you are defining in the general settings, whatever the number ranges you are defining in the general settings, so here whatever you are defining here, these need to be assigned to associated application area. For example, the number range interval for the licenses will be assigned to the license type, and the number range interval for the document will be assigned to the document type. So where is the document type? If I go to the document structure, I need to define the document types here. I need to define the document types. While defining the document type configuration, while configuring the document type, I have an option, assign the number range. So this way, you define the number ranges in the general settings and you assign those number ranges to the places where it is required. For the documents you can assign here, for the licenses you can assign the compliance management, wherever it is required you can assign accordingly. So that is the reason why you are defining the number ranges. For example, for the business partner, where to assign. For the business partner, where to assign. Now you understood that, for example, for licenses, number ranges for the licenses you can assign to the license type, and number ranges to the document types, the number ranges for the documents you can assign to the document types, and in a similar way, where to assign the number ranges for the business partner. The number ranges for the business partners will be assigned, number ranges to the business partner will be assigned to the business partner area. So basically, let me explain one thing. Since business partner is the concept which is being used like financial supply chain management, okay, it should be having like here financial FSCM module or any other module. So SAP GTS has provided business partner concept under the cross application components. Cross application component is the components which are available in the cross application components are applicable to cross modules. The components which are applicable to the cross modules or different modules are defined as part of this cross application component. So here we have business partner, SAP business partner. Here what you do, so you need to go to the business partner and the basic settings. So here you assign, okay, you assign number ranges to the grouping. So we have a maybe I can explain what is the business partner concept in our next class. It takes we need to spend a good amount of time for the business partner as well. And as part of business partner, we need to understand what is business partner role, what are the number ranges, and what are the business partner groupings, and what is the business partner type, and what is the field grouping. The field grouping, number ranges, business partner roles, we have to understand, which we will discuss as part of in our next session. Okay, so whatever the number ranges you define for the part of business partner, you will assign to the groupings. Each and every grouping will be assigned with the number range. You can see here the 0001 grouping 001 is having the number range 01, and the 0002 is having the number range AB, and the 002 having the number range DE. Here one more point is, number ranges for the business partner can be defined in two places. The same, if you define here, it will be applicable, it will be showing, it will be displaying there. If you define there, it is also applicable, can be seen here. I mean to say that number ranges for the business partner can be defined in two places. Those are, the one place is cross application components. You can define the number ranges for the business partner in cross application components, that is here. Okay, in cross application component you can define the number ranges, that is here, and then also you can create the number ranges in the general settings of global trade services. Where is the global trade services? Here. Here you can also create the business partner. If you open here, whatever you can see there, there are 0, 1, 5, 6. These number ranges are also available as part of cross applications as well. If you define there or if you define here, it is the same. That's up to you, whether you want to define the number ranges here, whether you wanted to define the number ranges in the business partner, that is cross application area or not. But ultimately, you have to assign number ranges to what? You have to assign the number ranges to what? To the groupings. You have to assign the number ranges to the groupings in the cross application components. You have to assign number ranges, whatever the number ranges you are defining here or there, ultimately those number ranges has to be assigned to the groupings. You have to define the number ranges to the groupings. So we will have detailed discussion on the business partner in our next session. So let me go back to the number ranges, like this is the number ranges one. So I think let me just start the business partner. So basically the business partner, as I told you, is a member who is participated in import business or export business. There are different kind of business partners what we can consider in the GTS module. Those are the business partner as a customer, business partner as a vendor, business partner as an employee, business partner as an like contact person, business partner as an organizational unit, business partner as like a financial institution, or as a business partner as a organizational unit as well. So whatever it is, so we have to understand all those roles in the system. So each and every business, as you know that each and every business partner is differentiated by the role. We have to define all the required roles in the GTS system. So in cross application components, in SPRO, okay, SPRO is the transaction code, okay. For the people who are not having the SAP understanding, what I want you to tell you, we are having transaction codes. We are using SAP. We are using transaction codes to create some transactions or to create some configuration data as well. To maintain the configuration settings, or to create a custom transaction, whatever it is, whether it is the master data, whether it is configuration data, whether it is transactional data, whatever it is, we can use from some transaction codes. In a similar way, for maintaining the background control settings, for maintaining the configuration settings, for maintaining the background control settings, what we can use the transaction code SPRO. SPRO is the transaction code where you can maintain all background control settings. Okay, all background control settings. So once you use the SPRO, you can go to the reference IMG. So here you can see all things. For example, since we are going to expertise in global trade services, we just need to know the things available, the configurations available in the global trade services. And in a similar way, the member who is learning transportation management, SAP transportation management, can work on transportation management related information. The people who would like to learn FSCM module, financial supply chain management, they can work on here. So that means the GTS consultant doesn't need to know about transportation management, doesn't need to know anything about FSCM, or doesn't need to know about any other module. We just need to know what is required for our thing, that is global trade services. We need to concentrate on the configurations available in the global trade services. But only one thing what you have to learn out of the GTS module is, that is business partner, which is available, business partner concept, which is available in the cross application components. So that is cross application components, you can see business partner, and then you can still go to the business partner and the basic settings. So these are only things like even the basic settings. We do not need to know everything. We just need to know what is business partner role, what are the business partner roles, and then what are the number ranges, and what is the business partner type, and what is the field grouping. Only these four things we need to know as part of the business partner. Even though there is a vast information available in business partner, we just need to know as part of SD GTS integration, as ECC GTS integration, we just need to know what is business partner role. The business partner role is required to differentiate one business partner to other business partner. So that's why we need to understand business partner role and then number ranges. As you know that in order to assign the numbers to the business partner, we need to define the numbers. And then business partner types. If at all you wanted to differentiate any business partner from one to each other, then what you can use the business partner types as well. But we are not using much about the business partner types. And I will tell you what is field grouping in the next class. So let us freshly start a business partner concept on the next class. I will be communicating with you by Saturday. Saturday evening. By tomorrow evening, I will let you know when is our next class. Okay.
Venkat, I got a question here. Here you have the GTS system in there, but comes from the ECC. If you create a sales order, billing, the data gets pushed to the GTS. Where do you create those transactions in the system? I don't see the menu path for them. They have it here, they hidden or?
What do you mean? Like you wanted to know where do you create the sales order?
No. You create a sales order and that will be pushed to the GTS system, right?
Yes.
So I don't see where you link up the order to the GTS system. You got to see the sales order, you create the sales order. Say, if you create the customs document on the GTS. So in the screen you have, I don't see the menu path. Maybe it's hidden or
No. Basically, as I told you, we are working on two different things. One is SPRO. The second one is SAP GTS area menu. Okay, SAP GTS dashboard.
I'm not asking at the configuration point of view. I'm asking from
that's what I'm telling. Krishna, that's what I'm telling.
Transaction point of view.
This is the transaction code for accessing SAP GTS area menu or SAP GTS dashboard. And one important thing is, in SAP GTS, all the transaction codes are starting with SAP SLL. If you come across any transaction code anywhere, wherever it is, you can easily feel, you can easily recognize, you can easily confirm that that transaction code is a GTS transaction code. If any transaction...
Okay, can you try N000 here?
I did not get you.
Okay. My question is this. So when you create the sales order, do you create in this system? You create in a...
No.
Right?
I told you, right, we never create any sales order, we never create any outbound delivery, we never create any billing document directly in the GTS system.
You don't create, but when you create in the ECC, it will come to GTS, right?
It will come to GTS, but you cannot display the sales order. You can display associated custom document.
Okay. So I want to see, I create on ECC my sales order.
Okay.
I want to see that thing came out properly into the GTS. So for that, you need to create in the ECC. That is what I'm asking.
Okay, this is the place. These are all for example, these are all our purchase orders starting with 4. Starting with 4 is your purchase orders. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go down, you can see starting. Let me try it.
So you basically use the existing one, but you don't create on the ECC and see that it is transferred successfully again, because when you create on the ECC side, and when it comes to GTS, it will just fail because of
RFC connections. Since both the systems are connected with RFC settings, okay, whenever you create a sales order, it will automatically create an associated custom document in the GTS system, where you can see here. This is the screen.
My point is, can we create here a sales order and a PO for the purpose of demo?
Krishna, this is not the right time for that. once we finish
Okay,
the...
yeah, I know. What I'm asking is, can we create or not? That's it. I know this is not the right time.
You mean, can we create the sales order in the ECC system and see the response of GTS system?
That is right.
Yes, we can see, definitely. That
Okay, yeah. Because the reason why I asked this question, Venkat, is because most of the time people create in there and they say they don't see it in there, it would have failed.
no, not like that. Whenever we finish, for example, whenever I finish SPL screening, so as part of scenario creation, what I do, like, I create a sales order in the ECC system. Immediately, when I come to the GTS system, I can see an associated custom document created in the GTS system.
Okay, that's fine. That's a curiosity.
Okay, that's really, it happens, like, we see all the time. Whenever it is like, as I told you, whenever we finish...
You don't see it on the other side.
As I told you, whenever we finish any application area, what we do, like, we try to create some scenarios, whichever is possible, whichever is like, allowed by the system, all those scenarios we will try to create. Generally, custom related scenarios we may not be able to create, but all the compliance related scenarios we can create.
Standard is good enough. Standard is good enough.
Yes. Okay.
When can we get it to the system so that we can see, we can correlate what we learned? Because we learned so much. If you don't look at the system, it just evaporates.
Basically, to be frank, like, you can just still wait for, like, 2, 3, like, maybe like, by Monday, we can, since we started general setting, okay, we can get, let me talk to, like, so like relevant people, and we will be receiving probably by Monday, or, by Monday.
Yeah, that's fine. So just basically, the reason why I ask is if we get it as soon as we can, I can go ahead and try to see the from screens and understand what is there.
Okay.
That will make, because as you know,
Yes.
says GUI based. If you don't look at the GUI, you can't figure out anything.
And we will receive the IDs by Monday. I already informed to them, but maybe whenever I receive the IDs, I will be.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
And this, for your information, for all of your information, this is the custom document. Okay, the custom document is 10000381. What is the associated sales order? Can anyone tell me? What is the associated sales order to this custom document? This is the custom document number 10000381. What is the associated sales order?
You got to go to the.
No, Krishna, you can see on the top. Display.
Okay, 14980. Okay, gotcha.
You can see, like, the associated sales order on the above 14980. If at all you wanted to see, like, at document inside, that is, if you go to the document flow, or if you go to the, like, you can see here. This is the document flow for the custom document, and the associated custom document is the delivery level. So to check the additional data available here, you can check here, and you can see the organizational data. You can check here. As part of organizational data, you can see the reference number. When you see reference number, it is always sales order. When you see the reference number for any custom document sales level, you can see here document type, custom document at the sales level. Why it is showing sales document level? Since this custom document is related to the sales order. If it is delivery related, like, let me go back, for example, if you want to see custom document delivery level, click here and go, it will show you custom document at the delivery document level. Are you able to see? So the associated delivery is 8001736. It is having the custom document 200016 at the delivery level. So this way, for all the sales orders, it will show custom document at the sales level. For all the deliveries, it will show custom document at the delivery level. And in a similar way for the purchase orders, just give me one more minute. For the purchase orders, okay. So for the purchase order, you can see custom document at the purchase level. So this way the system can differentiate, like, all the custom documents one to each other. Tell me, Shrikant.
Just I would like to know the same way, I mean, these document flow of the GTS, the same way the sensor, the ECS document flow will have this custom document number.
No. For our information, we will only receive the data like sales order, delivery, billing document from the ECC to GTS, but we will not transfer any custom documents to the BCC system since we do not require it yet.
Okay.
We do not have anything. Okay, and I will let you know the next class by Saturday. And my request is, I have not received, I was expected, receiving the payment 2 days back itself, but still I have not received the payment. Since we almost finished many classes, I request you try to send try to pay the fee at the earliest. And for the people who comes from the institute, I think they might have already taken care by the institute. That's okay. But who are having directly to me, that please try to pay by max by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay, please. It's almost I think it's too late for a couple of team members. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for understanding, and I will let you know our next class by Saturday evening. And for Gangadhar and Ramakrishna, maybe that's it. I will call them. I need to talk to them about something else. Okay. Thank you, and I will check the recordings. I will send you. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, and good night, Venkat.
Okay. Bye. Bye to everyone, and good night, and have a nice day.